Do I have everybody's attention now?
This is it, Josh! This is it!
Hey guys, WrestlePoint here, and wow, we had an intense pay-per-view. We are talking about All Out 2021, and oh boy, some of us had our predictions correct, some of us didn't. We'll get into that. We'll get into what we think of the matches and more. But go ahead, Eric. Cody, do you have the timer ready? No?
You lagged out, so I
Yeah,
didn't
you
hear
lagged.
it.
Oh my
I didn't hear
fucking god! Do you have the timer ready for Eric?
Before we get
Oh,
into
no.
that,
Oh,
I think we should give our thoughts on the show as a whole. I think that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, actually, I do like that.
Show off the
Yeah, so I'll start my thoughts on the card as a whole. It was fun. Like, I mean, we knew it would be good. I think I said during our predictions that I liked AEW pay-per-views better than WWE pay-per-views. But when you're comparing it to SummerSlam, I'm kind of conflicted. I almost want to say I liked SummerSlam better because both had highs, both had lows. This match, where the first thing we're going to talk about was this, just had the lows in this show were really low. And I think, say what you want about the Bianca Belair squash, I think one of these matches had the worst booking decision of either show. So I personally prefer SummerSlam, but that's not to say I didn't like the show. I thought, well, like we all knew this show would be fun. It was fun.
Tom, you want to go?
depends if I lag out or not.
Well, you will. We just won't listen, but they'll hear.
You just won't listen. I like All Out much more. I think it had the better booking. They had the better tag team matches. They had the better women match. They had the better returns. They had
That's debatable,
in my opinion.
That's actually insanely stupid.
Excuse what?
Just gonna say it. Anyway.
No. And,
Brock Lesnar.
They had the better Brock Lesnar, and then you had Daniel Bryan and
Becky
Adam Cole
Lynch.
coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah, and what happened with that?
What do you mean? What happened with that? They got a huge pop. They got a huge pop. That doesn't mean the return was bad.
And then no pop. And then no.
That doesn't mean the return. That doesn't mean the return was bad. Okay, whatever.
And
Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar. But Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar are better than Daniel Bryan.
There were four returns actually in All Out. Now that I think about it, there's four. Suzuki, Soho.
Suzuki wasn't a return.
Who?
Ruby wasn't that great. Ruby wasn't that great.
You said returns. None of them were returns. They were debuts.
Surprise entrance return / return. Anyways, I like the show much more. SummerSlam wasn't that bad, but I think All Out. Already people are calling it the greatest pay-per-view of this year. You guys are fucking AEW haters, so I'm gonna be
I'm not a hater. I'm just a realist.
No. Now I'm gonna go. We're not AEW haters. You're just an AEW super fan.
I'm AEW super fan. Have you met the people online? You don't watch.
You're classic because I never said anything bad about the show, but the fact that I said I like SummerSlam better got you all riled up. I'm just
saying it's a very interesting. It's a hot take at this point.
Okay, so let's get this straight. I've seen people on the internet say this is the best wrestling show in the last 10 years, which is
I never said that.
I didn't know you didn't say it, but people are saying that, and I think that's ridiculous. It was a good show. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Some of the matches were incredibly boring. Some of the matches were incredibly fun to watch, but it was a good show. I would say it. I said I like SummerSlam more when we were watching it. I'm 50-50 on it. There were some obviously All Out probably had the best match of either show, but I just think it was pretty even. And this was probably AEW's. They pull out all the stops. Let's just say that they pulled out all the stops. And if it still ranks 50-50 for SummerSlam for me, I guess WWE is doing something right.
For you, not for some people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said for me.
But anyway,
all right,
so how long do I get? How long?
Not long.
For everyone listening, I have a lot of opinions on the pre-show match. So much so that I told Cody and Dom they're going to need to give me a strict time limit so I don't completely overshadow everything else with this.
So
How long do I get?
this is a new WrestlePoint segment called pre-show 3-minute segment with Eric.
3 minutes?
I have 3 minutes on the clock.
All right, give me a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, start.
Fuck this whole fucking thing. This is like, honestly, this was a Dom, don't even give me any looks. You know, this was the stupidest thing that's been put on wrestling television probably ever. This was so goddamn stupid. There were no rules for this. There was an illegal man in this match for longer than there were only 2 illegal men in the match. This was unbelievably stupid. Matt Hardy starts off by doing the delete, even though that's not his gimmick anymore. He needs to figure it the fuck out. There were embarrassingly illegal tags. Literally, Private Party, they walked out from the corner to the middle of the apron and slapped their partner in the back, and they call it a legal tag. It was really stupid. There are no rules for this. There was a chicken fight in the middle of this, a chicken fight. 2 guys got on top of 2 other guys' shoulders and had a chicken fight. Do you know what I would do? You know what I would do if I was in a match and I saw someone get on someone's shoulders? I would walk up to the person that's holding the person. I'd kick him straight in the balls because there's clearly no rules for this. So the low blow would be perfectly legal, and I wouldn't have looked insanely stupid for going for it. And then after all this, they have their classic train wreck with a million high spots and near falls, and it ends with a submission. How are you going to have a 100-mile-an-hour train wreck, embarrassing, stupid match and end it with a submission? This is really dumb. What else do I have? And then the afterbirth, after the match, there's a beatdown like there always is on AEW. And then you just have to bring like half the roster out. The Varsity Blondes came out. The Dark Order came out. Jurassic Express left after the match, but then came back again. Like, figure it the fuck out with what the fuck you want to do. Like, I said on the predictions, I said, this is probably gonna be fun. This is a good pre-show match because the audience is gonna have fun. This was dumb. Literally, I walked out of my room where I was watching the show until the main card started. And if I hadn't paid $50 for this, I don't know if I would have watched the rest of the show after this. This was absolute horseshit, and I think my IQ dropped 10 points just from watching it. Is 3 minutes up yet? I feel like I've been going for a while.
You got a minute left.
I got a minute left. Okay, what else can I say? Okay, let me look at my notes. So Jurassic Express got the biggest pop coming out, which was good. This is what I was expected, which begs the question: why does Orange Cassidy still get all the airtime over these guys on weekly TV? Orange Cassidy's overrated and stupid. I'm not even looking at Dom. He's probably looking really mad at me that I don't like this absolute joke of a wrestler and a human being. He does his soft kicks on 3 different people, and they sell it as, and one of them sells it as if he got fucking hit with a baseball bat in the ass. It was really a joke. Isaiah Cassidy, the other Cassidy in this match, squeals like a little girl when he sells, and it's insanely distracting and also insanely stupid. I can't say this was just all around embarrassing. 0 stars, -1 stars. This was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
20 seconds if you have anything to add.
Longest 3 minutes of my life. Jesus Christ.
Dom, the fact that you're defending this at all, the fact that
I'm not
Cody,
defending it. It's just a pre-show match. Just chill out.
But it's a match, Dom. It's a match.
5, 4,
It's a
3.
I'm not defending it. I just don't care for it. It's a pre-show match. That's all.
But it's still a match. It's still a match.
It's not canon. Right?
All right. It's not canon. Where are we in the MCU?
Basically.
Anyway, so
right,
that was the pre-show.
Thank
Was the pre-show. So the first match, I was actually a little bit surprised that this was their choice to start the card. I thought, even though I'm sure they thought that the pre-show match was really awesome and really got the crowd hyped because the crowd's really stupid and actually loved the chicken fight and all that kind of shit. But I thought they would start with one of the hotter matches, like build for the main card. But they started with Miro versus Eddie Kingston, and we all knew who was going to win. We all had the same pick for this. We all knew Miro was going to win because we kind of had different thoughts of how we were going to get there. I thought it was going to go too long. I said 7 or 8 minutes and it'd be too competitive. I think Cody, you said it'd be a squash, and Dom, did you say it was gonna be a squash too?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I kind of none of us were right because I thought it'd be like 60-40 for Miro. And from what I remember, and I also said 7-8 minutes, this was like an 11-minute match. And from what I remember, I think most of the offense went to Eddie Kingston. And this match was really boring. I'm not even saying that as like someone that just said I liked SummerSlam better than this match, but this match I think it moved really slow. And this is kind of a show-wide thing that I noticed for a lot of the matches is they take their time to build, which is good. But then before they reach that crescendo that they're building towards, they kind of slow it back down. Like they change the momentum of the match before it really feels like they did anything big. And that's what kept happening here. There were two different times in the match where Miro got dumped out to the floor. So it's just like, I don't know why they're spending so much time on a match like this that I don't think really anyone was excited for. And in the end, yeah, Miro gets the win like he should have. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite match on the card.
I'll go down. I thought it was gonna be a squash. I was kind of upset that it wasn't. I actually enjoyed this match more than like I thought I was going to, because it was back and forth for a while. I don't think this helps Miro's character in any way, really, because like he almost lost to Eddie fucking Kingston. Like and then the big thing about this match was Miro's neck. That's all Eddie Kingston kept promoting about, his neck. He has a weak neck. How many times did Eddie Kingston actually go after Miro's neck? It wasn't.
I mean, there were definitely moves that were supposed to be aimed at his neck, but Eddie Kingston's so sloppy in the ring. Like some of his chops were supposed to hit like right here, but since he's so sloppy in the ring, he was hitting a lot in the chest. And then a lot of his suplexes were supposed to be neck focused, but he kept landing on his shoulder.
And it didn't like. I feel like the announcers didn't really key into it. Honestly, I was actually thinking about this today. I would rather Michael Cole than JR.
Really?
I could not stand Jim Ross anymore.
I get that.
I just think he's I don't know what it is. It's so like generic over and over again.
Yeah, I'll need to listen back because I wasn't paying attention too much to him.
Just basically pick your poison between the two.
Yeah. But this match was not my favorite. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't also the worst match on the card. So I'd probably give it like a 2-star rating.
For me, I had trouble with my stream during it, so I missed most of it. The finish was okay. I don't have any gripes with this match. I haven't rewatched it yet, which I have done with some of the other matches already, but I think it was a fine.
I think my big thing with the match was just like, I mean, we all three of us were kind of in agreement that the match wasn't going to be great. So it's not like when it comes to meeting our expectations, it's not like it didn't meet our expectations. The match wasn't very good. And we all knew that. I think the biggest disappointing part was how long it went and how competitive it was. Because Miro's been squashing everybody. Obviously, eventually he has to be challenged, but Eddie Kingston's not. He's not the type of worker that should be presented like that.
One of the bigger mid cards, but that's okay.
It's weird. He's just not very good. I think he's better served as a manager, like someone that'll like Jungle Boy's gone on record as saying he hates talking, but Jungle Boy is like a budding star in the ring. So I think like Eddie Kingston would be like just a good manager for Jungle Boy. Just talk for Jungle Boy and just don't wrestle.
It'd be weird.
It'd be a weird pairing, but I think it would. It'd be a weird pairing, but I think it would accomplish a lot because Jungle Boy doesn't like talking and isn't very good at it. And I think that's what's really holding back.
Speculations for something else.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So anyway,
to the card.
Yeah. So, the next match was Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. And so here's my thing. The match wasn't bad. I mean, I said during the predictions I don't like Jon Moxley matches, and this was a classic Jon Moxley match. It was a little bit better than most Jon Moxley matches I've seen. And I said this when we were on call watching. My big thing about this is I couldn't get into it, not because of my feelings for Jon Moxley, but because it's hard for me. Like Cody, you say you're a story guy. I'm also more of a story guy. So it's hard for me to kind of get invested in a match that really doesn't have any implications. There was nothing on the line here. No, like win or lose, we're probably never going to see Satoshi Kojima in an AEW ring again. There's nothing at stake for Moxley, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we knew he would win. It's just like this was just such a random thrown together match that had no consequence for either guy. But it was fine. It like just another classic brawling Jon Moxley match. Kojima looked fine. The only other thing I really have to say is it's kind of getting annoying that they keep referring to it as the Forbidden Door when just this year they've had like half a dozen New Japan guys come over. So I think they just need to stop calling it that. Just call it the door. The door's wide. Like the door's wide open.
That's a bit much.
But it's just whenever they've wanted a New Japan guy, they've got a New Japan guy. So like I'm just saying
they got 4 now.
Kenta, 4, and that's
not
and
for half a dozen.
For every fine. For every pay-per-view, they've had, I'm pretty sure, like 3 pay-per-views now. and how many they had this year. Like they're getting New Japan guys whenever they want one. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it a forbidden door when you can literally get a New Japan guy whenever the hell you want.
I don't know,
But
but
that's just
I disagree with that, but we'll move on.
yeah.
You can go if you have any opinions on the match.
I'm just checking out if the match was fine. Kojima and Moxley had a fine match. I didn't have high expectation for it. It was good for what it was. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, oh, that's a bad match. It wasn't great. It was.
Wait till I have to say.
I don't know why you think it's okay. Anyways,
We'll see.
I think it was a fine service match. Honestly, I'm more excited on what's gonna happen this Wednesday actually,
Mhm.
because I did say I didn't predict it. I won't go that far, but I did say, hey, look, I would have liked to see him do like somebody like Suzuki or Ishii, and then guess who runs out afterwards? Suzuki. And I'm looking right now if Suzuki actually faced Moxley and when Moxley did the G1. This was 2019. He did not do the G1 against him. So this is going to be a fresh matchup. It's a matchup we anticipated. So talk about story. We won't have as much of a story. Again, not. But the story will be that it was much anticipated. I'm excited to see Dynamite this week.
So this is my second least favorite match on the card. I think we can all guess what number one is, but we'll save that for later, I guess. I don't watch New Japan, so it's hard for me to get into it. And I hear about New Japan, like the hard hitting style, like I'd rather watch Walter 12,000 times than watch this match.
Well, this isn't a good representation, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't. But John Moxley's so like, I don't know. I feel like he's just so stiff.
John Moxley's not a representation of what New Japan is.
I know, but the other guy is, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's like
not so much modern New Japan. He was a really big star like a decade or two ago. Like I'll bet you there are a lot of people who watch New Japan right now that didn't watch like 20 years ago that might not think he's that great because they haven't seen him like in his prime.
Yeah, that's like getting Jinder Mahal out for a show and be like, that's what WWE wrestling is. Like it's a bad comparison.
Okay, so yeah, okay. I guess I couldn't follow along. This was really boring to me. It was very slow paced, which is mostly John Moxley's matches are slow paced. I can't get into. The Suzuki thing is like what the only thing I don't like is like why that interaction after the match. Like why are you like in a fight when you're gonna
That's him though. That's Suzuki though. That's his character.
I actually agree with Cody on that. Especially if they're gonna have the match on Wednesday. I think it's like I think I said it either in our last review or our last predictions that it really I said it during our SmackDown review that one of my big pet peeves is not letting the anticipation grow. Like they didn't need to, like we've seen them fight now and we're going to see them fight in 2 days. It took away a little bit of the mystique for me personally, but I'm still looking forward to it because I love Suzuki. My only other thing is if John Moxley is going to fight New Japan guys, which is fine. That's why like it's a working relationship and it's good for both of them. Find someone younger than 53. He's fought now. This is going to be his second consecutive 53-year-old. And then he fought Nagata. Nagata's like 52.
Yeah.
Find someone young. Find someone
is this building up to someone like massive?
Maybe
No.
it
maybe
might
they're gonna
build
be
up
like
Tanahashi.
if they're
Maybe
building
builds
up
up
to like
Tanahashi because
Okada
they mentioned
coming,
him.
my dream storyline is the return of Okada facing Kenny, because that is my favorite storyline of the last 10 years in pro wrestling. But with Suzuki, the thing with Suzuki is it was an anticipated battle between Moxley and Suzuki when Moxley did go to to New Japan. I don't think they fought. I need to look it back up. I looked at the G1, but I don't think they did. So it's more of an anticipation match than they're bringing out a 50-year-old.
I would have just rather them not touch or like wait because like so I know they're gonna have to do this next week just because it's in Moxley's hometown. So they want a big match for it. But if you were having it 3 days from now, you could have done something other than him just.
Well, not really, because they need him back in Japan, so that's the problem.
No. I know they had to do it this Wednesday because they want to do the hometown thing, but also he didn't have to like put his finish on him for the.
Yeah, I think that was foolish.
Yeah. So yeah. That's my
Alright.
pick.
But anyway, I'm moving on. So the next match was the Women's Championship, Dr. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander, and I'm gonna tell you. So this obviously this wasn't the match that I had the most fun watching of the night. We all know which one that's going to be, but as far as a wrestling match, just an actual wrestling match, this might have been match of the night for me. I thought this match. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this match was. I think it might be. Is it the best Britt Baker match I've ever seen? No, probably Thunder Rosa, but this is one of the best Britt Baker matches I've ever seen. I was really worried about Chris Statlander hurting her, and Chris Statlander. I even said if Chris Statlander's on her game, this match could be good. I think this match was one of the better paced matches of the night. I said during the Kingston Miro one that a lot of the matches were building up to something big, but then not really getting there. They actually built up really well to their high spots. And I don't have much in my notes because I was just enjoying watching the match. But yeah, I thought it was solid pacing. I thought the finishing sequence was pretty cool to do. She did the Panama Sunrise kick out. Then she did the curb stop kick out. Then she got her submission. And I think, and that's the way, like, if they have plans for Chris Statlander down the line, I think that's a really good way to beat her, to actually show how much it took to for the champion to beat her. So this, and obviously Britt Baker gets over strong with this because Chris Statlander was presented strong and Britt Baker won. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there was any cheating in this match, right? She won just straight up clean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does.
There might have been a
Yeah.
Rebel and Hater interference, like
Maybe, but
nothing
Early on, though. Early on, not like late into the match.
Yeah, not late.
Yeah, but I think this match was really good, and obviously the right person won.
Yeah, I also agree. I think this is the best wrestling match of the night. So the only thing I have, like the Panama Sunrise, it has to be in wrestling overall. It's just so like overused, and it's so like, oh, everybody kicks out of it. Like that should be a move that puts people away. Like that's such a freaking cool move, and it's like so overused. Everybody kicks out of it. So it's like, yeah, the move's awesome, but like this person's gonna kick out of it because everybody kicks out of it. So, and it was cool to see, because I think that's the first time she's done that, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see, especially on later on what we had. But yeah, I did enjoy this match a lot. Britt Baker's, you can tell Britt Baker's getting better in the ring week by week.
So much better.
So like it's exciting to see. I don't know how many women that like she can actually challenge. Like I guess you have Ruby now, but yeah. So I'm excited to see where this goes. It was a good match. The real thing that pissed me off, like Orange Cassidy never breaks character, and he breaks character in this match of all matches.
That was for the pop.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
I actually forgot Orange Cassidy was out there.
Yeah, and he broke character like really bad. So
I think that he did it on purpose. I'm like to show like, hey,
yeah, it was 100%. It was 100% for like the pop.
It was on purpose, but I still don't like.
I didn't mind it. This match I didn't have the greatest. I had good expectations for it, but it exceeded it. It was a good match. I enjoyed it very much. It's not my match of the night because that match will be up next. Understandably for a lot of people, I'm included in this one. But I enjoyed it. I'm happy that Statlander got a good rub from it, even though losing, that's what you want out of these matches. You want to get a rub for both of them. And I feel like they did that. And I'm excited to see her against Soho.
All right. So moving right along, the next match. So Dom's match of the night, mine and Cody's second match of the night, most enjoyable watch. The Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Championship, Tag Team Championship. So I'm going to start off just by saying why this isn't my match of the night, because I don't necessarily, like I said in the predictions, I don't really consider this a wrestling match. There wasn't very much wrestling in this. This was a spot match. And, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's a huge audience for spot matches. And, I can say that the Young Bucks, I can call them overrated wrestlers, but the bottom line is when it comes to spot matches, no one does spot matches better than the Bucks, and I'll give them that. And I said this is going to be fun, and it was extremely fun. My only complaint about it, but you can say this about any pick a tag team match in AEW, and it's going to be the same thing. They kicked out of some things that they just should not have kicked out of. Like if we're going realistically, so this match I think went. So we set the over under I think on our call at 22 minutes. This went 22 minutes and 3 seconds. But okay, but anyway, so 22 minutes and 3 seconds. If we're going realistically on what moves should have put them away, it should have been like 12 because there were some ridiculous things in this match that they kicked out of. But I understand that's what a part of spot match is, those really exciting near falls where there's just no human way that they should be kicking out. Other than that, the only other real complaint I have is when, so first of all, Cody spot on saying I got somebody jumping off the steel cage, but Phoenix hits a crossbody that takes out the Young Bucks and Penta. He hits all three of them. Both Young Bucks are down, but Penta jumps right back up. I thought that made absolutely no sense. But then again, spot matches by their very nature don't make sense. But great title change. I applaud the Bucks for doing the job. I think the Lucha Brothers got over really strong here, not just for winning against a dominant tag team, but to go through all the things they went through. They got over really strong. And I'm interested in where this is going to go, because obviously when Pac comes back, he forms the death triangle with those two guys. So I don't know if we're going to see could they possibly be defending on the Freebird rule where we could see Pac tag with one of them? I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where the tag team division goes from here.
I have a question before you go down. Okay. Is Pac a heel in AEW?
Yeah. He's like it's weird. It's the same thing with the Lucha Bros. Sometimes they're heels, sometimes they're babyface.
Okay. They're like baby. They're supposed to be.
They're tweeners. They're tweeners.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I was gonna say, I hope Pac isn't doing the Freebird thing. I think he should be his own thing, and this should just be a family, La Familia. This match, I think it had the psychology included. You forgot to mention that. It really had a good psychology with the Young Bucks are just so much better, and that's what they're showing. That doing with the shoe and the thumbtacks, with the mask, and then with Penta trying to save his brother right before he gets hit. Like, all of that stuff was really great. When I was thinking you was talking about spot face and stuff, I'm like, well, imagine it not being a spot face and being a normal wrestling cage in a steel cage. A wrestling match in a steel cage. I'm like, that would be pretty boring. Because then you'd be like, oh, why is the steel cage there? So I feel like with the steel cage.
The steel cage is in place to stop the Elite from interfering. That's
but that still would be like, we wouldn't.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not like, when I say spot match, I don't mean that.
No, I get what you're saying, because I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, I think they utilized the steel cage pretty well, but not over reliant on it. So I think it had a really good match. It was really good. The crowd was really into it. Overall, very good match. I don't know, but match of the year, because some people are saying that. I still like Finn Balor against Roman Reigns from Friday more. I don't know. That's just me.
I promise when the Wrestling Observer newsletter does their end of year awards, guarantee maybe not this match, but an AEW tag team match is probably going to get it. Those guys
was it good
at the newsletter. Yeah, but those guys at the newsletter are bigger AEW marks than Dom.
And plus AEW plus tag team matches in general deserve to be praised, because those are hard to pull off well. But that's my thoughts. Go ahead, Cody.
All right, so I actually thought the opposite of Dom at first. I thought they were very reliant on the cage at first. There was a lot of the cage action early on, but once they got to the middle of the ring, once they got to the middle of the ring, it was actually cool. I enjoyed this match. I enjoy high spot matches on occasion, not all the time, obviously. Like, I love War Games matches. War Games matches, I love those. So, and these are four great people that know how to do these matches in particular. At the kind of the tail end of it, it got a little predictable because we were on call, and I remember saying, "Oh, they're all gonna get." When they're all in the circle, I'm like, "Oh, they're all gonna."
I hate those spots.
So we were really on top of that when it came down to it. But I'm glad that the Young Bucks did the job as well, because I know they have a lot of weight in AEW, and they could have easily said, "Hey, we don't want to lose these titles." I'm excited to see where this goes. AEW is tag team wrestling so much better than WWE right now. It's just like in WWE, it's hard to watch a tag team match unless bro, isn't it?
Unless Usos, you better stop.
I said the Usos are the best tag team in the world, so I still stand by that. But the shoe thing was cool. I actually didn't think they were going to end up doing it. I thought it was just going to be, but like, especially when he kicked him in the head and then he had to pull off the
Oh my
shoe
god, that's
to
a
the-
That was
gruesome. It had,
gross.
yeah.
That was so gross. Like
yeah,
I said after the match when Penta had like his whole family at ringside, I'm like, dude, I get that that's a big moment for you winning these titles. I would never let my young children see that happen to me.
But Penta does some crazy shit all the time. It's not like
He does, but that was like, did you see at one point they did after the Bucks kind of tore away at his mask and you could really see like his eyes. One of his eyelids was purple and swelling. It was disgusting. I would never like you saw like the heavily criticized thing in WWE history, The Rock and the Mankind I Quit match when The Rock's pounding him with a chair and they pan to Mankind's family and they're all crying.
I don't know. Okay.
I would rather let my family see me beaten with a chair than let my family see me go through a Penta run through. But that's just me. That's just
because that has the chair thing that has like forever precaution. Like the thumbtack is like, oh, you pick it out and it's gonna look bloody.
But still,
like that's
so kids aren't thinking about little kids aren't thinking. Okay, it's just aren't thinking brain damage versus like a wound that'll heal. They're thinking about, oh my god, what I'm saying is they're thinking about, oh my god, look at all my dad's bleeding.
Then again, these families are different. We don't know how they react to pro wrestling. You know,
I don't know. I'm just thinking if I were a kid, what would scare me? What would scare me more if I saw my dad going through it? What happened to Mankind? What happened to Mankind? I mean, they clearly knew. They obviously knew it was a work, but you still that's still a lot. But anyway, we don't need to talk about that. Next match on the card was the 21 woman. Yeah, so next match on the card, 21 woman casino battle royal. Winner gets a title shot at Britt Baker. It is what we thought it was. I wasn't blown away by this match at all. It was a classic. You know, like I like casino battle royals for the most part. This might have been my least favorite. I just felt like there was not much happened in this match where, like, I can't tell you like 2 or 3 things in this match that like 24 hours later, can't tell you 2 or 3 things that happened in this match that I was like, whoa, holy shit, that was really cool. Okay. It was just the match. I think, I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Dom, I'm sure you might remember something, but from this match seemed a lot. It wasn't so much about the match as it was the surprise entrant, which was Ruby Soho, the former Ruby Riott. I think that's what the match was more about, and that's fine. I'm glad she won. I'm glad Thunder Rosa lost, not because I hate her, I love her, but I did not want it was such a predictable winner, Thunder Rosa. So I was really glad that they swerved us a little bit on that. Excited to see Ruby Soho in the ring without the WWE limitations. I'm sure Britt Baker will beat her, but excited to see it.
No, I agree. I didn't think Thunder Rosa would have been a predictable winner because a lot of the people who watch wrestling and who are like into it and do all the news and speculation around it is like Thunder Rosa is probably going to be the one set up right now, at least, to beat Britt, because Britt's got to lose at some point. You know, that's what everyone champion is.
Yeah, that might be like that. I feel like that they might be saying that for Revolution.
Exactly, and that's why I thought we're gonna wait till later, and then Ruby was a great surprise. I got swerved out by her little MLW thing. I'll admit, if I didn't, I might have picked her. I got swerved out, right? I'll admit, I'm the bigger man. I got swerved out. You got me. Whatever. Next time I'll be more wary of it. But it's a nice surprise. I think she brings in a refreshment to the division, so that's good.
She brings drinks.
Like it was something new, you know. Like it's nice.
I know you.
I didn't clarify very well.
All right, so I think this match was perfect for what it was, just because we just got off such a high watching that high on the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros match. You need something slower paced, something that like calm the crowd down and let them relax. I'm pissed because in the back of my mind I was like, Ruby probably gonna show up. The MLW thing confused me too, because I was like not sure like what she could do, and then I was like, just please. I didn't care if it was Lana. I just didn't want it to be Ruby, and of course it's Ruby. I never really liked her in WWE, if I'm being completely honest. I always thought she was just kind of stale, but I'm open to seeing what she is now that she has a new character and she's has a fresh place for a start. So I'm looking forward to it. I agree with you guys. I think Thunder Rosa is ultimately going to be the one to beat Britt Baker, but I don't see that happening for a little more while.
Hey.
And before we move on, if I could give them one more compliment, I told Dom, I don't know if I said this on the call or if I just told Dom, I really liked how it's like with the Royal Rumble. What do they say? 90 seconds between each entrance or something like that. But they manipulate that time all the time. Sometimes it's a minute and a half. Sometimes it's 2 minutes. Sometimes it's 2.5 minutes. They AEW, they stick to their intervals. They what's it? Yeah, they put the 3-minute clock up on the jumbotron so everyone can see it. I think it's those little details that's just like I think it's a good thing to mention. And it's another one of those, when you're talking about AEW versus WWE, before AEW started getting, because they're not just getting, like, people say they're getting all the talent. They're not necessarily getting all the talent. They're getting all the talent that people want to see. They're getting the talent that people have said WWE is doing nothing with these guys. I want to see more from them.
As they should, yeah.
But yeah, which is, that's a great thing. But I was saying before they were getting all those people, this was coming down to little minute details. And I think that kind of attention to detail is something that I think it's a really, for someone like me, the way I watch wrestling, that makes me want to watch AEW more than WWE. So I just wanted to give them one last compliment on that.
One last compliment before you shit on them for the rest of the time.
Okay. Well, I was about to say I'm not gonna shit on them, but then we have this next match where I think we're all gonna shit on them. Okay, so to this point, I'm not including in singles matches and tag team matches, not the Casino Battle Royal. We're all perfect on our predictions so far. We're all 5 for 5. And that was all about to change for 2 of us, because the next match was MJF versus Chris Jericho. If Chris Jericho loses, he has to retire. Who wants to start? We all. I think we're all thinking.
I'll go ahead and start and get out the way real quick. The match, I love the countdown because I know Cody would have mentioned it. I love when the countdown is and it's Jericho's last match.
I predicted. I saw on the call. I said it's gonna be MJF.
You did. That was great with the rope. The match itself was actually really good. The finish, yeah, we didn't like the finish, of course. I didn't like the finish. I thought it would have been so cool if it would have, Chris Jericho had his foot on the rope and MJF won, and then they can argue with that and they can work around that. I wish they would have stuck with that, to be honest, but they didn't. I didn't like that MJF tab. That's a bit. I didn't like that. I didn't like the finish. The match itself, I liked the finish. I didn't. What's a good comparison to it? So a SummerSlam match where was good and the finish was bad.
Every WWE match. Every WWE pay-per-view match.
Anyways, besides the point, I enjoyed the match a lot. Everything about it. I just didn't enjoy the resolution that. Not the finish, but the last second finish, like everything how after they restarted the match. I'll say that. Yeah.
Let me go. All right.
Okay,
I didn't like this match. I really don't. I just can't. Jericho is just so overdone for me. He does the same thing every single time. It's just like MJF had that one. Like whenever does like a ref mess up and then the match is restarted because the ref messed up.
Never. They've rarely ever restarted.
Never happens. When's the last time a match got restarted? I can't even.
I don't know.
The one that pops in my mind. I know.
Probably within the last couple of years, I'm sure.
I know there's the one. The only other one that comes to my mind. I know there's been one after this, but the Rock versus CM Punk at Royal Rumble, where the Shield attacks Rock.
That was BS too.
But that's a little different. But this one was like, and you're making MJF probably your top heel in the company. It looked like just tapping out everything. Like you could have MJF could be turned around. He turns around, they restart the match, and he gets hit with a code breaker. And I thought the announcing was horrible in this match, probably the worst announcing of the night. Like MJF does this cool spot where Jericho's on the top rope, he jumps off. MJF hits him with the code breaker, and they don't even mention that it was the code breaker. Like that's just like such a missed opportunity by the announce team
The
that
code
like
breaker thing. I mean, I don't think they're allowed to. That's the thing. They already do a lot of slip ups to begin with, so
what does Jericho call that in AEW? Has he done it?
he has. He,
They-
I mean,
they
that's the
called it
reason he
code
changed the
breaker.
finisher.
I doubt they have the IP for a code breaker. I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't too big of a fan of this match. It was all right for what it was, but Jericho is just I feel like Jericho in this character at least has ran its course for me at least.
And so I'm kind of in Cody's boat in that I wasn't a huge fan of the match, but I haven't been a fan of a lot of Chris Jericho matches recently because he just isn't. He's not bad in the ring necessarily, but he's showing his age and he's showing his like. I'm not going to say fitness because I'm sure he still is training and is still like strong, but he's showing his lack of like cardio. His matches aren't very good. They're very slow, and this again, say what you want about Bianca Belair getting squashed. This I think was the worst booking decision between the last two major pay-per-views because at least Bianca Belair lost to a star. MJF lost to a 50-year-old, and it's just like.
But he didn't get squashed.
I'm not talking about this right now, Dom.
Whatever.
You're not going to change my mind on this, but
So dumb.
I think the worst part about it is I think the thing with Jericho's foot on the rope and the restart. The worst part is I think that they think that made MJF. I think that's how they justified the loss to MJF. Like you're going to look good because you're going to pin him, but then you're like before you tap out, you're going to pin him. But it's the complete opposite. That kind of finish is what's supposed to give Jericho an out, so that Jericho has an excuse.
Imagine getting sucker punched and then losing in like 24 seconds.
Yeah.
That's
so like
awful.
yeah, to the most over woman in professional wrestling, but whatever.
Yeah.
And not a 50-year-old.
Imagine being the
50-year-old
champion for 6 months and then getting sucker punched and losing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, after being champion for 6 months, but it's just, I hate the way that they've booked MJF. Like I think if they just kept it with Jericho's foot on the rope and that being the finish, it doesn't get MJF over like a clean win would, but it at least MJF at least gets the win. He wins the feud and Jericho has an out. So I think everybody wins in that scenario. Whereas when you restart the match, then have MJF still lose, I think there's no positives coming out of this for MJF. And it's the same way. It's just the same old story. He can't hang on to his heat for more than a week. And this is just absolutely ridiculous. I think Jericho is absolute filth for beating MJF here. I think it's just so dumb. Because what does MJF do now? How is anyone supposed to take him serious? Like they'll build him up again.
I don't think
they'll build him up.
It's not. What do you mean take serious? Bianca got sucker punched and lost in 5 seconds.
Stop fucking talking about Bianca. Stop talking about Bianca.
Why are you bringing up Bianca?
The man was in the cope or in the
AEW,
for
another
30
AEW
seconds.
AEW
He had a
mark
whole
can't handle
match.
anything.
It's not like he
can't handle
fucking
it.
lost in 2 seconds. Like he's still gonna
Dom,
be taken serious.
I'm not talking about Bianca. Stop
I'm
being
talking
an
about
AEW.
MJF right now. He wasn't a lion tamer for 30 seconds. Like it's not like he.
But you're comparing it to Bianca.
But I'm just saying, how is a man gonna be taken serious? He still won against Chris Jericho right away. He can still argue the call, like, hey, the official referee made the call. Like, I think he still can work about it. I don't think he's gonna lose his momentum from it. Like,
he's gonna lose momentum. They're gonna have to build up his credibility a little bit more. Yes, they do. He lost. That's just a fact. And he lost to a 50-year-old. And he lost the feud. It's just, John. It's a wrestling fact.
That call you made earlier just bugs me so much. It's just so bad.
That's the top heel in the company lost to a 50-year-old.
Is it the worst opinion you have had on this show?
Over woman in the business.
The worst opinion you have had on this show, honestly, perhaps.
That the top heel in the company lost to a 50-year-old wannabe rock star was a worse booking decision.
At least they had a
match.
No.
Let me finish. Then somebody losing in a squash. I'll tell you it was a squash to the most over woman in professional wrestling.
Champion, incredible champion. You're supposed to be carrying women's division.
And Becky Lynch never lost her title, so I don't know what the argument. Becky Lynch is Becky Lynch.
I never said I never argued that Becky Lynch shouldn't have the match. I'm just arguing that she shouldn't have squashed her.
Okay, but
and the other thing is Bianca has an out. Becky Lynch sucker punched her. She has an out in that.
And
She got
Jericho,
sucker punched. What's MJF's out in this?
First, okay,
his first pin was dirty. He should
Wasn't-
never.
it
That
wasn't
first pin
dirty.
should not have counted. Or not dirty, but it was a false finish because Jericho had his foot on the ropes. That's not an out for him. That's an out for Jericho.
But I wouldn't say he lost his momentum. I feel like it was great.
His credibility.
No, because I agree with Erica because now they're not gonna just cut the MJF Jericho storyline. They're gonna continue this. And
even if not though, you think like MJF can't if MJF wins the match, he can challenge Kenny Omega and you get it. Because he just won 4 matches against Jericho. Kenny Omega's I'm saying you if it happens you buy it because he just won 4 straight matches against Chris Jericho. So you buy him as someone that can challenge for the title.
And you're right, a 50-year-old man.
Dom.
So if I beat a 50-year-old man 4 times, I get a world championship match.
I'm sorry. I don't love everything AEW does.
I didn't say I love everything AEW does.
All I'm saying is you buy it. All I'm saying is you buy it. I'm just saying you buy him as a credible challenge. You don't now because he lost. He can't challenge for the title now. You have to rebuild him. He wasn't going to do it
anyways. He has what 3-4 matches
for the 5th time. I'm speaking hypothetically. He could have.
Justified the challenge. No, because the way AEW does it is to do it the records. He had.
I'm sorry. I understand wrestling way. I'm sorry. I understand wrestling.
No.
I'm really sorry.
Understand it.
Yes, I do.
Dom. Now MJF. Say MJF. CM Punk's cutting a promo. MJF comes out. Do you believe that MJF has a chance of beating CM Punk now?
It's because of CM Punk though. That's different.
Or yeah, but if he beat Jericho, he's on a winning streak. Then that makes sense.
That doesn't tell me much because
let me ask you this, Tom. Let me ask you this. So you know how AEW lists their contendership, like everyone has their like rank.
Yes, the record.
Do you think not their record, like how like they have the number 1 contender, number 2, like they're very
based on the record, yes, mainly.
Yeah. Yes. So okay. So after this match, did MJF's ranking go up or down? Tell me that right now. Yes or no? I don't want. I want 1 word. I want you to say 1 word. I want you to say 1 word. I want you to say yes or no. Did his ranking go up or down? 1 word. 1 word only. Nothing. Yes or no? Did his ranking go up or down?
Didn't change.
It's no.
Listen.
We're moving on.
No. You guys got.
We're moving on. Okay, the next match. No. We're moving on. It's like talking to a fucking wall. Okay, the next match was CM Punk versus the next match. The next match was CM Punk versus Darby Allin, and so I'm gonna be honest with this one. So we were on the call, so you guys know what my story here is. So my dog started freaking out like halfway through this match, so I actually had to leave the room like halfway through the match. So we can all agree that the match was a slow build, which isn't bad. It was a slow build to the finish, but I unfortunately was not in the room for the build to the finish. So I missed the good parts. So I can't really review this match. All I'm going to say is right person won. And I'm actually going to, I was very adamant about this being the wrong opponent for Darby Allin. I mean, that Darby Allin was the wrong opponent. And I'm going to bite my tongue a little bit because they actually did really well. Oh, and Dom, by the way, I know you look, I didn't cut you off because I don't want to talk about this. It's for timing purposes. Well, obviously after the show we can keep talking about it for
I want
the
to
purposes
get out
of
on
the time of the
air
episode.
that my point.
Your point's gonna be
Just
the same
one
thing. It's
point.
be
Just one point.
But anyway,
about the contendership. No,
okay, fine. Okay.
About the contendership. MJF had 3 matches this year, single matches. That's what they count for. They count for who has the most wins. I don't think it didn't change much because he only got 1 loss.
But that wasn't that wasn't my question though. My question was
that was my point.
But my question
can we move on?
It didn't change anything because it was so significant. Yeah.
But anyway. So I can't really fairly review this match because I missed the building to the literally when I walked back in my room and I looked at my screen, CM Punk had Darby Allin on his shoulders for the go to sleep. So I can't really fairly critique this match. All I'm going to say is they did change my mind a little bit about Darby being his first opponent because I do think he looked fine. Like they did make him look nice and competitive. I actually think or at least for the parts that I watched, I think Darby I'm not going to say carried, but I think Darby had a lot. I think Darby looked a lot better than Punk for at least the parts that I saw.
Yeah.
So I think he came out of this looking good. So I'll bite my tongue on that. But yeah, that's all I can really say.
You want me to go, Dom, or you?
I'll go real quick. Actually, this is the match I watched today.
Of course it is.
CM
CM
better
Punk.
than because yesterday I was like, yeah, this was underwhelming. And then I watched back, I'm like, actually, I was wrong. It had some really nice callbacks. CM Punk had 2 GTSs. The first GTS was a callback to his match with John Cena in 2011, my favorite WWE match, where he hit the GTS and he rolled out the ring, and that's when the big 9 count was, and then Eric was complaining about but he's gonna spring to life at 9, and he's gonna wrestle back and fly to the ring. And then,
I hate it because it's predictable.
I mean,
stop milking a count out when no one ever gets counted.
They do it all. They have been doing that in wrestling throughout history. So
I know, and yeah, no, it's one of the. I'm not saying that as a problem with modern wrestling.
Anyways, I was gonna.
I enjoyed the match more than I said I didn't think the match was gonna be good. A match was better than I expected it to be, but it wasn't great. CM Punk did look a little rusty. Darby is just throwing himself around like he usually does. I'm excited for CM Punk to move on, even though it's only been one match. I'm excited to see what he can actually do with a long, good feud that has some story built behind it. So I'm excited for that. But also CM Punk, Phil Brooks, hear me out. The tights.
Please, I agree.
What are we doing? What are we doing? I know you haven't wrestled in 7 years, but like, man, I see your Instagram selfies in the gym. I think you can pull off the trunks look instead of wearing fucking tights.
I warned it a little bit. I was like, "Yo, is this the CM Punk I know? Is this like is this a fake?" I was a little disappointed because it threw me off. The match was good. I don't think it was great. I think it was a good first match for CM Punk. He looked like somebody who hasn't wrestled in 7 years. I think he said that in the press. But I think for somebody who hasn't wrestled in 7 years, I think he did good. I think it was a good match. It elevated both wrestlers, what wrestling match is supposed to do, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Yep.
All right, so for the time that we spent for like what we spent like 7 or 8 minutes arguing about MJF and Bianca, let's make up a lot of time here. Paul Webb versus QT Marshall. I'm just saying 2 words about this. It happened. That is all. It happened, and Paul White won.
All right. What's the main event?
Okay. Kill us.
So main event for the AEW World Championship: Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage. Not gonna lie, I wasn't a fan of this one. It just seemed, I think their match for the Impact Championship was better.
Yeah.
Even the crowd, the crowd wasn't dead, but for the standards of an AEW crowd, for the pops that we're used to hearing from them, they seemed pretty dead for a little. And I think part of that's not necessarily because they weren't into the match or into the competitors, because obviously Kenny Omega's super over with them, and Christian Cage is also to a degree. He doesn't get the reactions he did when he debuted, but he's still pretty over. I think this was more a victim of the show's been going for the main card's been going for nearly 4 hours. Those people have been in the seats they were there for the pre-show, so they're going on 5 hours. I think it was just and plus they had a big pop for CM Punk. There was a big pop for Jericho winning, huge pop for everything that happened with the Bucks. They were just tired. Like at this point, I think the crowd was just tired, and that's the problem with if every match is like one thing I like about WWE pay-per-views, and this is going to sound weird, is that not every match is fantastic. Like they can be fantastic for what they are, but they don't book their shows where every single match is meant to be the main event of WrestleMania, because the crowd needs to have somewhere to go. With AEW shows, like I'm not complaining that there's a ton of action in AEW matches. I'm just saying when every match is the main event of WrestleMania, when you get to your actual main event, the crowd's just tired. And I think that's what happened here, because the crowd didn't seem nearly as into it as they normally are. The match, this is another one where the match, it felt like they were building up to something big, but nothing huge. Like there were obviously high spots and big moments, but nothing. It seemed like they were building up. Their build up just kept getting cut off prematurely. So the match for me never fully picked up. And then, we get the obvious good brother interference. Then we get Kenny Omega won. We all knew Kenny would win. And I think that's another reason I couldn't really fully into this match and quite a few matches on the shows, because a lot of these matches had really, really obvious winners. But I think this one, I kind of wanted to rewatch this one after a full night of sleep, so I could watch it when my mind wasn't super fatigued from watching hours and hours of wrestling earlier. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite. It was fairly cleanly worked because Christian's really technically clean and Kenny's also fairly clean, but it just wasn't, definitely not my favorite Kenny Omega match, that's for sure.
I'll go down. You can finish up. So I like when we were on the call, it was like this match was really slow, and you guys were like, "Oh, Kenny Omega's matches start off slow, but when they go fast, they go fast." I don't think it ever got to that point where it was going fast. I think it was constant. I think it was constantly slow, and I don't know if I was tired, like the fans, or like I just couldn't get behind the match, but I really just didn't. The match was just really boring to me. I get there's so much better matches on this card, but like I guess for what it's worth that this is one of the most obvious finishes that you're gonna see in AEW. So it's like let's just get this over with and let's get to the rumors of who's showing up tonight. That's really where I was at for most of this match.
For me, I agree with you. I was fatigued too. Like wrestling shows are sometimes so fucking long, and this is something I'll have to rewatch. From what I remember, I think it was a pretty good match. I think it had some really cool spots. I like some of the reverses they did. A one-winged angel from the top rope. I mean, a way to finish it off, honestly. This is I feel like the same. I have to feel same like feelings I have with the John Cena Roman Reigns match, because when I watched it, yeah, I recognized it. Yeah, it was good, but I was tired watching it from everything that happened before. Like main events are like it depends. Like, because some of main events I'm like, oh, how long is this gonna go? Because like compare this to something like a New Japan World Wrestle Kingdom match. Like I skip some of those matches like at watching before the main event, because I know main event's gonna go an hour. This one I wasn't sure. I should have expected it. But I need to rewatch this. I enjoyed it. I think it was third best match in my opinion, behind the women's match and the tag team match. That's just me. But
to say before we get into what happened after the match, I do want to say one thing. I think Dom, you might not agree with it, but I think you're gonna understand where I'm coming from with this when I talk about the pacing of the match. The pacing, it's not gonna be a bad thing, but I think the pacing of the match, not in like the moves that it had, obviously, but the actual just pacing of the match, it felt like the pacing of the Omega Okada classic match.
Which one?
A little bit, but the big problem was
in the beginning. I agree. In the beginning of it,
yeah. But the big problem was where that match.
Which one? Which Omega one?
I don't know if this is my internet or yours, but you're frozen.
It's mine.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So, but whereas the Omega Okada match, that one got 75 minutes, like really long match. This one was 20 minutes. So they were. It seemed like they were building for a match that was supposed to go an hour, but they got a third of that. So that's why the pacing for me was just, it seemed very, very slow, especially for an Omega match. I was surprised how slow this was for
No,
I
agree.
Yeah, but then talk about ending on a high point though. So Kenny,
Wait. Before
I
want to say something of this match itself, and then we get to it. I was gonna say it feels like an alternative ending. Like you said, it was supposed to be go like an hour, and then all of a sudden Kenny wins. I feel like that's how it kind of felt like with the slow build. But other than that, I enjoyed the match. It's one of the ones I will rewatch. Go ahead now.
So like I said, talk about ending on a high note. So we're used to seeing what we got in the actual like post match where the Elite comes in and they start beating people up and all that. Kenny cuts a promo saying, it's classic. I thought this was I think Kenny gets too much shit for his promos. I have no problem with his promos. I actually think he's pretty good on the mic. I think he's a lot better than he was in New Japan, and he still wasn't even that bad in New Japan.
Yeah.
So he cut a fine heel promo. Like, I told you, nobody, I'm the best. And I actually loved I can't remember it verbatim, but it says something to the effect of everyone who ever had a prayer at beating me is either retired or dead. I love that line.
Retired, not in the company, or dead. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get the lights go out. We get a bigger.
The Undertaker.
Yeah. So we get Adam Cole, which
Baby.
that was a pop. I love the Adam Cole Baby pop. That's one of my favorites because I love Slug.
Is that his Ring of Honor theme song? I believe so.
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
That's a good theme.
I'm pretty sure.
Compared to
Yeah,
the
so
other,
Adam Cole.
compared to the person that showed up, that Adam Cole's is a superior theme by far.
Yeah, so Adam Cole, he gets in the ring, and they have this big stare down with him. Oh, by the way, so I think it was Jurassic Express came out to make the save, right? Do I have that in my notes?
Yeah, they were here there. Yep.
Yeah. Jurassic Express comes out to make the save. So they're all still scattered around the ring. They've been beaten up by the Super Elite. And Adam Cole, he's staring Kenny down, and then he super kicks Jungle Boy to declare his allegiance with the Elite, which is cool. Kind of expected because they're real life friends. But I'm not gonna lie, I love the fact that Adam Cole's coming in as a heel. I think he's a lot better as a heel than a babyface. And I understand that he wants to work with his friends. I think that faction's too big. So now they have the Bucks, Omega, Cutler, Nakazawa, the Good Brothers. I'm counting Don Callis as a member because he's always with them. Now Adam Cole. It's a nine. Unless I'm forgetting somebody, it's a 9-person faction. That's fucking huge. And
have you ever watched the NWO?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a
Kill the Good Brothers off.
no.
Ricky D's company that they go.
Yeah. So anyway, Adam Cole turns heel, and so the crowd's going crazy, and then this actually popped me because I was only expecting one debut that so now so Adam Cole first he cuts a promo. I said like I don't remember exactly what he said, but he cuts a heel promo talking about why he's a bad guy now.
He's like
and how the Elite are the most dominant faction in the history of the business.
He took a shot at Vince McMahon. He said, "There's no chance in hell that anybody's stopping us." And then
I don't. I wish I caught that. I wish I had the presence of mind to like catch that.
And he says like, "Oh, Omega, what do you think?"
Well,
like
before Kenny kicked Jungle Boy, Adam Cole mouthed to the Young Bucks, "I remember what you did to me," because the last time they were in the ring together, they turned on him. So, and then that happens, and then Kenny Omega is saying, "Oh, I bid you adieu," and then that's when. And then
so Kenny's giving a sign off. He says, "Goodbye," and then he says, "Good night." Before he could say before the bang, Brian Danielson's music hits. I fucking popped. That was
great.
Good. we all knew he was going to be in AEW at some point. But after Adam Cole, and he was heavily rumored to be on this show. But I thought when Adam Cole came out, I'm like, okay, so no Brian Danielson.
That's what they did it on purpose.
Yeah. Oh no, they definitely did it on purpose.
Very smart.
If he comes out, the place just blows the hell up because he's a fucking star. He like you thought he was like you thought he was over in WWE. He is over like twice as over on the indie scene. He was a fucking indie legend. So he got the pop that you knew he would get. The crowd's going crazy, and I couldn't help but feel kind of bad for Adam Cole because his debut was very short-lived. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I don't think it overshadowed too much, though, in my opinion. I think it like you don't forget. Oh, Adam Cole is not that guy.
I mean, you didn't forget it, but it kind of like he had his big triumphant debut, and it ends. The last thing you see of him on the show is him retreating. I felt a little bit bad because you're gonna walk out remembering Adam Cole, but everyone was probably walking out talking about Brian Danielson, and the conversation probably went, "Holy shit, Brian Danielson! Oh my god!
Well, Adam Cole said that it was his favorite pro wrestling moment of all time, and that says a lot because that debut for NXT was pretty spectacular. So
yeah. So, but yeah, it was a really fun. It was a really fun way to end the show. What did you guys think?
Cody is right now off, so I'll go ahead. Spectacular, honestly, spectacular. I think the way they finished it was it was grand. It was hype. I watched the press conference and the post match, the post show not interview promo from Daniel Bryan, and that I wish they had that promo in the show because that promo was great. The Daniel Bryan promo, like man, I think sometimes I forget like Daniel Bryan's always a great wrestler, but sometimes I forget how good of a promo he is. Like he is really fucking good. Not, but Adam Cole, I'm excited for. I think it makes sense of him joining right away with the Elite. You know, what else is he gonna feud with them? Like, not, he knows like they did betray him. Maybe he's like, oh, I'm gonna destroy them from the inside out, like MJF did with the Inner Circle, something like that. It's gonna be interesting dynamic. I wish AJ was there now, selfishly, because oh my god, could you imagine AJ being there as well?
AJ's not coming. AJ's not going to AEW.
Not
After that
but-
boy's
but
contract's done, he's retiring.
we'll see.
It'll be cool though.
We'll see.
It'll be cool.
But anyways, it was great end of a show. It was a good way to end the show. Definitely a good way, a happy ending, like Kenny likes to say, good happy ending.
So Brian Danielson, my favorite wrestler. Before I get that Kenny Omega, I think I like obviously I like the return or the debut, but I'm nervous for him because he can easily get lost in the shuffle with the Elite. Because like the Young Bucks are the tag team, Kenny Omega's the main guy. Where does Adam Cole fit into that? Adam Cole is a top tier wrestler.
You know where he fits, Cody?
Mid card.
AEW Trios champions, Adam Cole and the
You better
Good Brothers,
stop.
baby.
No trios. No
I mean,
trios.
if they're gonna do trios, it better be the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. I do not want to see Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows on my screen.
There's gonna be Nakasawa, Brendan Cutler, and like
I was
somebody else.
saying, so like I've heard things that are like, maybe possibly Adam Hangman Page and Adam Cole will have a match, and then Hangman Page beats Cole, he gets a shot at Omega. But I just want Adam Cole to have like Adam Cole being a leader of a thing was perfect for the Undisputed Era. He played that role perfectly. So I just don't want him to get lost in the shuffle. So that's what I'm nervous about.
I have a
I'm
question.
sure they have a plan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have a plan. I don't think they would bring him in like, oh yeah, just come in over.
I don't know. They're just signing people. Sometimes.
Anyways, yeah, in the beginning, yeah, they take a while to be like, what are you actually gonna do? But I was gonna say, another faction member of Cole is also gonna be free soon after his 90-day. Bobby Fish. Do you guys expect see Bobby Fish maybe do something like that?
I could see him going to AEW, but I don't want him to join the Elite because the Elite's getting way too big.
Well, I'm not gonna, no.
I'm
I'm saying I'm not suggesting to join the Elite. I'm saying like that would be an interesting.
I could see him coming to AEW.
I think they have bigger fish to acquire before Bobby Fish.
Acquire.
I see what you did there.
I think he's gonna. Honestly, if I had to bet, Bobby probably goes to Ring of Honor. If I had to bet, but it would be interesting little dynamic with the AEW Undisputed
All
Era.
right, so let me get to the Bryan Danielson. So his theme music is god awful. He needs that change.
It's funny.
It's so bad. But this is gonna be a new Bryan Danielson that if you haven't watched Independence Scene, you're gonna like. So like they asked him in the interview, like, is there any banned moves from WWE that you're gonna bring to AEW? He said, well, we'll find out. So that's pretty cool. So his promo is basically like, I came here for one reason. They call themselves the Elite. Let's see how elite they are. Because for my money, Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler in the world. I find it hard. I would find it hard for people to argue that.
I argue, but that's just me.
I think the only person you could make an argument is a better technical wrestler than Bryan Danielson is Zack Sabre.
I'll say Okada, but that's just me.
But like he's not just a technical wrestler. He's great on the mic. Guy's funny when he needs to. He's a great heel.
He's fucking hilarious.
But he's I can see him being like a wrestling machine type character now. Like he's just gonna, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I've never been. So I'm not an AEW guy, but I've never been more excited to watch AEW now.
There we go. Let's go. Both of our
I was gonna say I was
gonna
gonna open this to some quick final thoughts because I actually had something I wanted to say to kind of wrap up my portion of the review, which is like, okay, I talk a lot of shit about AEW, but I'm obviously not. I obviously talk a lot of shit about WWE too. I'm not like I'm not like a WWE
We talk shit
like
about
lifer. I talk shit about wrestling in general. But I gotta say, if I were a wrestler right now and I got to choose AEW or WWE, I would choose AEW in a heartbeat because not only like because there's the obvious reason that they have more creative control, they're not as restricted, but you listen to Tony Khan in interviews, you see pictures of him backstage. He just looks like a fun guy to work for. Right? Like
He's a fan.
I don't know.
He's a fan.
Yeah,
He's a fan.
yeah, and sometimes that's what you need. Like some people say that's the wrong type of guy to be running a business. It's different with professional wrestling. I think Tony Khan, I would love if I was a wrestler, I'd want to work in AEW. And like Cody said, it's not just with the names that they currently have, the names that they're rumored to be getting within the next couple months. I'm really excited because I think an interesting thing is going to be, obviously they have their niche audience that loves the gimmicks, loves like the Orange Cassidys and the Best Friends and the overly goofy stuff that you guys know that I hate. But there is an audience for it. But there is a huge audience for that. I'm interested in seeing what happens when there's just too much talent to showcase those guys. Like when, like, let's say, Bray Wyatt comes and Buddy Murphy comes and all those rumored guys. Let's say all those guys come to AEW. Are you going to sacrifice their TV time so that people can see the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy do the same thing they've done every single week since AEW started?
Well, the Best Friends are already not showing up much on TV recently now.
I think you have
to. I didn't mean specifically them, but like that kind of thing. There's a lot
I get it. I get the concern.
I think you eventually have to. You're gonna have to split AEW into brands.
Yeah,
There's just too much talent. There's too much people. Like me being biased. Like if I don't see Brian Danielson on my TV every week, I'm pissed off. So it's just me.
I get that. For Daniel Bryan, I need him to be on commentary talking about Bears because that thing is hilarious. That's one of my favorite bits, like wrestling. And what are you saying, Eric, with the AEW and WWE, AEW and WWE? Like, what would you want to start? I think I would still start in WWE, to be honest, because like that pedigree, it's hard to count.
That surprises the hell out of me that you said you'd rather be in WWE.
But this is the thing: if you were to start be in WWE too. If you were to start at AEW, right? Like you would not get any promo time. Because they don't do promo stuff in Dark. In WWE, at least in NXT, you would have like a promo, you would have more of a character. Like I would find it difficult as a young pro wrestler to convey my whole character just off a wrestling match. No,
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on I guess what stage you are in your career. Like I guess up and coming, it'd probably be better to go WWE.
You're starting off, you're getting signed right away.
I guess I was talking more from the perspective of like an Adam Cole whose contract expired.
Then it's different. Now he has a choice. Then it's different. But if you want to be a brand new wrestler, both of them for some reason were like supremely like athletic and talented.
Yeah. Which, like, speaking of Adam Cole, you know what's bullshit to me? So you guys read, I'm sure, that one of the big things with Adam Cole leaving was he said, there's no way that I'm abandoning my Twitch.
Yeah.
So WWE has that whole like no third party income. Why the fuck is Xavier Woods allowed to have up, down, down then?
And that's his own.
You've had all of these people get released or just leave because they don't want to abandon their like Twitch streams and their like YouTube channels. Yet Xavier Woods gets up, down. I'm not saying this is an indictment against Xavier Woods. Obviously, if they're going to let you do it.
I don't know enough about it.
I think he started it before. I think he started before that thing was in place.
He did.
A lot of people did though. Zelina Vega's been huge on Twitch for years.
I know Adam Cole started during the pandemic, so I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Chugs, I don't know anything enough about it in terms of like legal contract, so I really don't want to comment. But yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think they're actually going to put Bryan Danielson in the title picture for the first?
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hope not, because I don't think Kenny's dropping this title for a while, and I think the last thing you want to do is.
What's the
next pay-per-view is in November. It's in November, Full Gear.
What is it? Full gear. Okay.
Full gear.
So I think they would save Bryan Danielson for Kenny versus for whatever.
Yeah, for Evolution. Yeah, I think because Kenny's not dropping the title for a while, and I think you definitely don't want a huge star like Bryan Danielson to just come in and lose, even if it's a title match, and it'd be a title match, and he would lose dirty from interference from the entire Super League. But you still can't beat him that early.
I mean, give me Brian Daniels.
And that's another thing I think. That's
And-
another
wait,
thing I
wait,
think. That's
wait,
another
wait,
problem
wait,
I think.
Wait. Backtrack on Cody. You said
I don't know what you're saying.
backtrack. Cody, hello.
Yeah, you're good.
You said Revolution with Daniel and Kenny, right?
Yeah,
What about Hangman?
I don't care about him. Man.
Okay,
They're
whatever.
they're on the roster. The roster's getting to the point where it's just going to be harder and harder to
They need to
justify
fit in Hangman.
putting Adam
Hangman
Page
is
there.
still over. They're gonna fit
Hangman,
in.
and also Tony Khan confirmed that Hangman asked for time off. So.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, he
that.
did. I'm pretty sure.
You snooze, you lose. Sorry.
You better
Brian
stop.
Daniels
You better
isn't the title
stop.
picture,
No,
man.
Cody, you better stop. No. I'm a
But anyway,
mistake.
so we've gone. I don't have the time on me, but I'm sure we've gone way longer than we anticipated going
Okay,
for
it's like-
various
it's
reasons.
like, it's probably like an hour and 20.
Yeah,
where-
we're fine. Go
Yeah.
ahead and say it last time.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. So I mean, so I said those were my final thoughts were that I'd rather be in AEW. But if I were to give just my final thoughts on the show, I kind of already did before the review. I think
Yeah.
there are parts of it.
Good
yeah,
job.
There are parts of it. Yeah. There are parts of it that were fun. There are parts of it that were fun. There were parts of it that were otherworldly stupid.
I had a blast. It was fun. Let's do it again sometime.
I was all right. I can't wait to watch Raw in an hour. So
Oh
I
my
can't-
God, that's right.
All
Fuck.
right. Good night.
I might play Fall Guys and watch Raw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last, can you make us
Yeah,
say
Should
good night?
should we announce the plans going forward with the YouTube
So
channel?
yeah,
please?
I can so what we're planning on is so we stream our reviews on ASAP Network where we're a part of, but we would like to get more YouTube stuff with our channel. So we're gonna stream our AEW Dynamite and Raw reviews on Wednesday night right on our YouTube channel. We're also going to stream our SmackDown review and Rampage review Saturday night, 10 o'clock Eastern time, both times. And Tuesdays, or I think we agreed on Tuesdays or
Yeah.
Sunday each week, we're going to do a special video. Just maybe if there's breaking news, maybe we'll talk about that. If we want to play games sometimes, do that. Just fun stuff.
Yep. I guess that leaves it off. Like Kenny Omega says, goodbye and good night.